Hello, my name is Kirioth, and today, not only do we have some hints as to new boys, but frankly, this is going to be the least objective video I've ever done. Now, admittedly, all this channel is my opinion. You know that I make it very clear that this is all my opinion, and that you're completely free to disagree because we all have our own personal tastes. Don't expect even the smallest amount of non-biasedness from this one. I'm just saying it up front because they've done it. They have made a model for Argel Tal, who is by far and away my favourite character of the Horus Heresy. And I know, I'm not alone in that. I know he's a fan favourite. I know everyone loves him. I know that's not anything special. But I love this character. And him having a model, just, it's so right. It's so right. It's so wanted. It's so wanted and it's so right. So let's have a look at Argel Tal, shall we? I wouldn't personally describe him, you know, being being merged with a demon, or bonded with a demon, technically, as being a gap here, but sure. I'm sure most, if not all of you, already know who Argel Tal of the Word Bearers is, but there'll be a link in the description to just give you a brief rundown of him if you are not familiar. Safe to say, he looks solid. Now this is clearly, it's so good. Oh, it's so good. It's so good. I don't care. I don't care if you're sitting there going, you're not really giving this like the proper eye that you should. I am. It's just all my eyes see is the thing I want. This might be it. This might be the gateway drug into the Horus Heresy. They've done it. They've made the model now. I mean, I'm gonna buy him. What else am I supposed to do? Oh, it's... Okay, so this is obviously Argel Tal post-transformation. He is absolutely ripping Ultramarines to pieces, as evidenced by the corpse of said Ultramarine in his hand. Now, I do like the holding of the Ultramarine, but this does mean that no matter what you do, unless you're prepared to do some, by the look of it, extremely detailed cutting away and rebuilding with green stuff, you're always going to have a Marine of some legion or other in his hand, which might not necessarily match the game that you are currently playing, which is in a way a bit of a shame because it means you're kind of locked into one particular moment in time by the fact you need to paint the torso for it to look any good. That being said, it's kind of a small complaint for me because I feel like they've absolutely nailed him. The claws look great. They've got a nice mix of the kind of organic and metallic aspect of the hand and the claw itself. The merging between the armour and the flesh is really nicely done. The helmet is really cool. I have to admit, I don't know whether, maybe I've just kind of had the wrong image in my head all this time, but I always figured the mouth was horizontal, not vertical. But it looks decent how it is, so like, it states in the books that his helmet like merges with his head, and then it actually has like the grill forms a kind of mouth, which is terrifying. And this does have that, but I thought it would be a bit more pronounced. That being said, I don't know that I mind it, because the way that they've done it, the horn looks really cool. The way that it's almost got this kind of like laurel kind of almost crown thing going on, that's a really nice touch. The flesh kind of merging into the helmet itself is spot on. Really like that. Also mentions in the books the way that the armour kind of cracks and flares open. They've done a really good job representing that, so you've got all these little bits of like cracked armour panel that is again merged into flesh in places. Oh, I really like this. The wings look super cool. The wings look like they've been done really well, actually. And I like the pose of that one. I like the pose of the one on the right, screen right, because it does stay in... Oh, which book is it? Is it in Betrayer? No, it's not in Betrayer. It might be in Betrayer. I can't remember. There is a book in the Horus Heresy, there's so many of them, there is a book in the Horus Heresy that talks about Argel Tal fighting alongside Khan, and he uses his wings as like shields to protect himself and to protect kind of other people around him. That's a nice touch for that, because it looks like he's protecting that shoulder whilst he points over like in another direction. I like that. That's a really cool touch. It also mentions in the books the way that his feet kind of become cloven hooves, which is nicely represented in the model as well. I love this. The only thing I don't like, and this is something that I would absolutely kit bash myself, although depending on when this model particularly is set, for a little while there, Argel Tal was using both a Custodes spear and sword. So he had Custodes weapons that he used in battle, and no one knew how he unlocked them, but he managed to find some way to unlock them and use them properly, even in like demonic form. Those are missing from this. However, it is stated in that same book, I believe, where he's fighting alongside Khan, that the fighting is just so extreme and goes on for so long, and it's so brutal, and it's against Ultramarines, that the sword and the spear both break. In which case, if it's set later on in that battle, then that'll make sense, because he doesn't have them from that point on. I won't spoil the end of that one, because, yeah. But yeah, I love this. I love it. I love it. I think this looks absolutely great. This is a really, really good representation of a character that I've had in my, I can see in my mind, and it's always been pretty damn close to this. Now, of course, we have had other members of the Gal Vorbak kind of available for quite a while now, and this one in particular is like essentially a good stand-in for Argel Tal himself, and he does look good. But to me, that's what I've seen in my head. That's what I've seen in my head when I've pictured him. Kind of similar to that, but just slightly different, and I feel like this has absolutely nailed it. Admittedly, it's a little difficult to do a full comparison because the colour schemes between this and that are so much different. Like, this is done in the kind of older Forge World style, where a lot of the older Horus Heresy stuff is painted in a distinctly different vein to the Games Workshop stuff. This is much more true to Games Workshop's overall kind of approach to painting their display figures, which does make the contrast pretty extreme. That being said, you could easily paint Argel Tal like that and he would look fantastic. So yeah, just pure unadulterated gushing there. Sorry about that, but I can't help myself because that looks fucking great and I want it immediately, and it's what I've envisioned in my head for Argel Tal for I don't know how long. It's pretty much nailed just what I've been imagining, so how could I not like it? How could I not like it when that is basically what I've seen when I've read about his demonic form all these years? I've read The First Heretic so many times that the spine on the book is actually damaged just because of how many times I've read through it. I love this. Unapologetically, I don't give a shit. It's fan-fucking-tastic.